So how big is a pound of fat anyway? I've been losing lots of them. Almost 24 pounds in the last 33 days, but how big is that? I know that my shirts feel loose and that my pants are loose. And I know that my wedding ring doesn't fit on my finger that well anymore. It's kind of loose. But how much is a pound of fat? How big is that? I'd like to be able to see and visualize how much weight am I losing. That answer is coming right up. So you know that I'm trying to lose 30 pounds in 60 days. It's just a story about me going from this guy who was 235 pounds in 2013 back to this guy who managed to get down to 164 for about a hot minute and climbed all the way back up. But this time I'm taking my stuff seriously and I'm going to be eliminating wheat and rice. I've got a strategy and I'm going to stick to a plan of eating some very simple basic foods. So what did we weigh in today? What are my stats today? Well, it was 170.2. I was just down just a tad, minus 0.2. Not very much progress. Something weird's going on. Not really sure. My wake-up weight, there's my trend line, is starting to curve up a little bit, so I'm paying attention to that. My weight loss is down just 0.2 today, and there's the trend line for it. So I'm starting to edge below that 0.5 average, and that's okay. That's okay. I've only got 6.8 pounds to go before I hit my 30-pound target, and I've got lots of time left. My 5-day average, that's coming down too, but it's sticking around that 0.5, 0.4 amount. My rolling 7 days has come right down. Boy, I only lost 2-point-something pounds in the last week, so maybe that's water, maybe that's just metabolism, who knows? We'll figure it out. Total weight loss, calories allowed, that's always going down. I'm down to like almost just a bare 1,100 calories a day. Am I feeling it? Well, because I've gradually, removed a little bit of my calories every day. I'm not stepping down. I'm not taking huge steps down in my calorie. I'm not going from like 1,200 to 1,100 and then from 1,100 to 1,000. I'm just taking a pinch off every day. And that little pinch makes a big difference in my cravings and how my body gets used to the next level, right? It's just a small amount every day. So that's been really productive. My blood glucose levels were nice and low this morning. I think it was 83. Gotta tell you something. Something that's really important here. There's this thing called dawn syndrome or the dawn effect. Didn't really know much about that. Apparently, when you're just waking up, your body just naturally dumps a little bit of blood sugar into your bloodstream so that you can wake up, right? It releases hormones, says, hey buddy, get up, get up. So it puts a little bit of sugar in your body. So, I woke up really early this morning. It was like 5 o'clock and I took my blood sugar test right away and it was higher than 83, and I was surprised. It was in the high 90s. But I remembered the dawn effect, and what the recommendation is you should wait about an hour after you wake up to take your blood glucose levels. So I had my water, had some coffee, and I know that there was a couple calories in that coffee, but within an hour, my blood glucose levels were nice and normal, came back down to a nice even 83, and I was happy about that. I'm in ketosis. It's 1.4. There's those are very good numbers. And my progress to time ratio is starting to slow down, but I'm still hovering around that 1.5. I'm doing about 50% better than I thought I would. So, where am I at? Well, I've lost 23.8 pounds. I've got 6.2 pounds to go. And I've done that in 33% of the time. So, I'm feeling good about that, right? I'm noticing some things. I'm thinking about where I'm at on this diet. I'm wondering what is going to be happening next. But, I'm keeping a very level head about it, right? I talked yesterday about what kind of questions we ask. So, today I've got a much different perspective than I did yesterday, right? I'm staring at my metrics today, right? The trend is correct, but it's slowing down. I'm not going to feel too bad about that. My emotions, I'm being patient and confident today, right? I'm being confident that I've got a plan and I'm being patient for things to work out. I know from experience that water is an issue. Water weight is an issue that I weighed myself very early this morning. I weighed myself at 5 o'clock this morning. So, hey, you know what? That extra couple of hours probably does make a difference. So the other thing too that I noticed is a lot less cramping. I introduced potassium chloride went and got a little bag of potassium chloride. So I introduced a little bit more potassium chloride in my regular electrolyte mix because this electrolyte mix has a lot of sodium in it, and I don't want to triple up or double up on this. I just want to go with one dose of my electrolyte panel, which has all the minerals I need. It's got a lot of sodium, and I don't want to do 2 because that would just double my sodium, double my water retention. That's not necessarily what I want. But I did introduce a little bit of potassium chloride into my water mix, just pure potassium chloride. Be careful about that. Do not overdose on potassium. It can be dangerous. So, you know, they recommend, you know, just 100 milligrams, maybe 200 milligrams. It's a very small amount, a milligram or 100 milligrams. It's not a gram, it's 100 milligrams. Just be careful. Keep it very light if you're doing pure potassium chloride supplementation. Just be really careful about it. It can be dangerous. You can develop some really serious conditions about it. So the other part that I noticed was that where my attention is, right? My attention is focused on managing my expectations. Yesterday's expectations were, oh boy, I'm going to be in the 160s, but that didn't happen, right? Life threw me that little curveball yesterday and said, no, you're not going to be in the 160s. You're still going to stay in the 170s. So, you know, I'm managing my expectations, and I'm thinking about my discipline and my plan, because that's what's important right now, right? I got to focus on my plan. I've got a written plan. I know what that is. Did I cheat yesterday? Absolutely not, right? Was I hungry? I was, but I had lots of willpower to deal with it because I'm dealing with this the right way. I'm staring at my plan. I'm working my plan. I'm trying to identify ways that I can improve my plan. But the working on my plan is what I'm focused on, right? Because we always have to ask ourselves a better question, because what we're trying to do is hack this loop, right? We get focus, meaning, emotion. Sometimes those things turn a little bit negative, and when they turn negative, we have to ask a better question, right? We have to have a question that's ready for us, right? A question that's on standby all the time. I've always got this one question that's on standby for me, right? How can I focus on something else that's going to give me a better positive outcome, right? That's kind of the question that I'm constantly asking myself, because that's a much better question than why is this happening to me, right? So I'm learning what I'm doing, and I've been asking better and better questions over time. So what should I focus on to produce a more positive outcome? So yesterday I focused on my plan to produce a more positive outcome, and today I focused on a little bit of a different question, just a fun question to try to get me motivated. I focused on, hey, what's the volume of a pound of fat, right? And how in the world would you figure that out? So I looked on the internet. I couldn't find the answer. There was stuff everywhere about how much a pound of fat weighed, and it was really interesting what they had to say, but there was different answers everywhere. Finally, I decided to kind of look this stuff up myself. I did find a very good mathematical theory and sort of like idea on Quora. I don't remember the person that said it, but it was very good, and it's correct. It's the correct mathematical approach to calculating this. So let's dive into some math, right? So the formula for density is this symbol rho, right? Which is looks like the letter P, and that's really just mass over volume. It's mass divided by volume. So I went ahead and looked up in the Physics Hyper book, which is online. You can go take a look at that. I went and looked up what's the density of human fat, and it turns out that the density of human fat is 0.98 grams per cubic centimeter. Now, I know I do a lot of stuff here in metric because I love metric, and I'll be converting all this over to inches into the imperial system, but that's what it is. And interestingly enough, guess what? Guess what human fat? Guess the density of human fat is identical to olive oil. Olive oil is the same. It's the same. Olive oil is a liquid. Human fat's kind of a solid, right? It's kind of a jelly. It's kind of a solid. But they're the same density. If you put them in water, they're gonna displace exactly the same amount of water. So that's kind of interesting how that works. So now, human fat. Let's take a look at the equation. So we know that a pound is equal to 453.6 grams. And so what you do is you take 453.6 grams, which is a pound, and you divide that by the density of human fat. And what you're left with after you cancel out all the grams is 494.1 cubic centimeters. That's the volume of human fat, right? 1 pound of human fat. But hey, let's convert it. So 1 inch cubed, a cubic inch, is equal to 16.4 cubic centimeters. So we take the result, the 494.1 cubic centimeters. That would be a pound of fat, the volume of a pound of fat, and we divide it by the number of cubic centimeters per inch, and we're left with 30 cubic inches. 30 cubic inches. That's what a pound of human fat looks like, right? It's a small, tiny amount, but I was actually surprised at how big that was. I was surprised at how large a pound of human fat was. It looks just like this. Look at this. Look at this. It looks just like this. This is a little box that I've got. That's exactly 30 cubic inches, right? I found these on the internet and had them mailed over to me, but I sat down and kind of wrote all the stuff out on here. But this is it, right? It's a box. This is 2.5 inches, and this is 3 inches right here, and the depth is 4 inches. And when you multiply out 2.5 by 3 by 4, you get 30 cubic inches, which happens to be like a pound of fat. It looks a lot like a pound of butter, but you know, actually, I think it's a little bit smaller, right? A pound of butter might be a little bit bigger. I think butter's more dense. I'm not really sure. I didn't really look that up, but I wanted to get exact on what this looks like. So, man, I'm losing this much every 2-3 days on this diet. If you're losing 1 to 2 pounds, if you're losing a pound a week, you're losing one of these little blocks, right? Look at this. Look at this. It fits right here. It's like a little block of fat, right? It's like it could fit in your head. Your brain is only a couple of these, right? Your brain's only about 2 or 3 of these, right? Your brain only weighs a couple pounds. So look at that. It's that big. So then I started thinking to myself, well, I've lost almost 24 pounds. So no wonder my clothes feels loose, because I've lost 24 of these. What does that look like? Well, guess what? Check this out. Check this out. This is 24 of those blocks, right? Right? I've got 12 by 2 by 3, right? This is a lot. This is a huge amount. So this is 24 of those little 30 cubic inch boxes right here. 24 of them. Look at that. It's bigger than my head. It's bigger than my head. Even almost this way, it's bigger than my head. It's massive. This is a lot. I was amazed to see how big this was. I'd never actually thought how much fat we're carrying around. You're carrying around this much volume. I was thinking, it's not even the weight that bothers me, although the weight actually is wearing and tearing on my body. But look at this volume that you're carrying with you. It's huge. It's huge. Did you know? Guess this. Check this out. I did a couple of other calculations. Did you know that a gallon is 231 cubic inches? Okay. So how many of these fit in a gallon? Well, it turns out that take 231 divided by 30, and it's 7.7. There are 7.7 of these, almost 8 of these in a gallon. There's 24 here. 24 divided by 8 is 3. I'm carrying around 3 gallons of fat. That means every 8 pounds is a gallon. You're carrying around, every time you lose 8 pounds, you just shed a gallon of fat. A gallon of fat, that's a huge amount. I'm amazed by that. When I went from 235 to 165, I lost 70 pounds. 70 pounds. That's a lot. This is 24. I lost 70 of these just side by side. I lost 3 stacks like this. 3 stacks like this. That's how much volume I was carrying. No wonder your pants and your clothes fits better when you're losing weight, because fat takes up a lot of space. I mean, it's amazing how much energy you get from a little block of fat, right? This can last you a long time, but what's incredible is just how much volume it takes. So as a visual, a pound of fat looks just like this. Looks like a little box, 30 cubic inches. Got these, I think, on Etsy. was kind of cool. I was able to order 50 of these because I want to give you the example. So on a day-by-day basis, I'm going to show you how much fat I've lost. I'm just going to keep tacking on boxes until we get to that final number. And maybe it's going to be 30, maybe it's going to be 35, maybe it's going to be 40 pounds. Who knows? Anyway, hopefully that was useful. If you're dieting today and if you're trying to lose weight, you know, you got to stick to your plan, whatever your plan is, whether you're doing just pure exercise or whether you're calorie counting or whether you're doing a very specific type of meal diet. But no matter what you do, right? Remember, you've got to stick to a plan and you got to measure your efforts and your results on that plan. Whatever your efforts and your results are on that plan, you've got to stick to it. You've got to measure those and you've got to figure out what is it that you're doing right, what is it that you're doing wrong, right? So you got to do that. Hey, if you like my videos, please like them. Just hit the smash button, smash the hit button, smash the like button, whatever it is. I've got other videos that I've done. You can check those out. And also remember that the number one thing that you can do if you're in a calorie reduced diet like I am is you can weigh your food. Go ahead and weigh that food. Weighing your food is the number one thing that you can do to maintain your habit of taking a look at a plate of food and going, that's too much food. That's just too much, right? I'm getting to that spot now with 1,100 calories a day where I'm eating about the same amount as my kids are eating. My 4- and 6-year-old, I'm eating about the same amount as they eat at the dinner table, which is a reasonable amount. Kids eat, you know, they eat well over 1,000 calories a day, right? They're growing, right? I'm not growing. I'm not growing, right? And I don't need to grow. So I'm going to be maintaining my diet for as long as I can, for the full 60 days, and then I'm going to go into a maintenance plan. You know what's motivating me? I'm not wearing one of these right now. That's motivating me, right? That increased my willpower quite a bit, right? When I saw that, I was like, wow, that's great willpower. And I'll tell you what else. In 27 days, I'm going to be able to begin the process of returning to a normal diet for the new weight that I'll be at, which will be at least 500 to 600 calories more than I'm eating now. Can I handle 28 days? Can I handle 27 days? Absolutely. I've already done 33. I can wait another 27 days. I'm being disciplined and I'm paying attention to my plan. So whatever you're working on today, you know, stick to your plan. Good luck. I'll talk to you tomorrow.